the regular session, so we'll start with the public hearing. The way this works is I'll call the public hearing. I'll have Garrett talk a little bit about what the item's about. Anybody in the audience who wishes to come and speak, feel free to do so. Once we've exhausted all the people that want to rush forward and talk about it, we go to our regular meeting, and then that item will also be for discussion in our regular session. So, calling the public hearing, PZ item 15-05, public hearing concerning an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, amending the zoning code and official map by changing the classification of approximately 14.8 acres owned by RLDC LLC and located along the 400 and 500 blocks of West Gray Street from Planned Development District PDD to high-density single-family residential R1H. Garrett?
There are two lots located within the villages at Monte Cristo major subdivision, lots 171 and 172, that are large lots together. They comprise about 14.8 acres. What's been proposed is to rezone that area out of the Planned Development District and into the R1H, or high-density single-family residential district. Within the Sunset Landing PDD, which is its current zoning, those two tracts are designated for multifamily development up to almost 15 units per acre. So that would be like an apartment complex use is what those were designated for. So this will actually be a decrease in density from that planned apartment unit use, and staff is recommending approval.
Does anyone wish to speak on this issue? Please come forward, give us your name.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my name is Rick Wilson of Wilson Surveying, represent the owners. We think this is a good move to get away from the multifamily and go to a straight zoning, so that's why we brought it back for you. We have a preliminary plat that will follow that give you an idea of what we want to do with it. Be happy to answer any questions that you have.
We might during the regular session. We don't now. Once we get to talking about it, somebody generally has a question.
Be here all night.
All right.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to come forward? Seeing nobody come forward,
We did have one resident who received legal notice of the rezone who could not be here tonight, but did submit to our office a written statement supporting the rezone request.
Okay. Can we make that do we need to make that an exhibit or attachment?
Yes.
Let's do that.
I'll have to go.
You don't have to get it now. So the record's clear. We're going to make the comment from the neighbor, I guess, a part of the record of the hearing, which is a practice that we've used in the past. Anyone else wish to come forward? Tried it once before, didn't work. Nobody's running up here now. I'm going to close the hearing and we'll move to our regular session. First item of business is the approval of minutes of March 2, 2015 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on the motion? Call the roll.
Ransom Ellis.
Aye.
Absent. Alan Dixon.
Aye.
George North.
Aye.
You were absent.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
You can still vote aye if you want.
Well,
Can you?
Oh, yeah, you can vote whatever you want.
Oh, okay. Jeff Ressler.
Aye.
Did you?
Ken Sawyer.
aye. I'm a little confused in the packet here. I thought we already covered this one, but we didn't have enough. Is that?
I kind of thought we did too, but last time, but maybe we didn't.
We didn't have enough yes votes.
Okay.
Oh, okay. If George votes, you're still voting yes?
No.
You're voting?
No.
You're abstaining? Are you abstaining? Thank you. Did I say, are you voting yes? And you went no. Uh-oh, wait a minute now. Gotta be one of them. Abstain. I got it.
Yeah.
You're abstaining. All right.
Since I wasn't there at that meeting.
We good? Passed, did it? Good enough.
2, 3, 4, yes.
All right. Next item of business, approval of minutes of the July 20th, 2015 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting.
So moved.
Got Alan on the motion. Do I hear a second? Jeff on the... Any discussion on the motion? Call roll.
Kim Sawyer,
Aye.
Jeff Ressler,
Aye.
George Norris,
Aye.
Alan Dixon,
Aye.
Ransom Ellis.
Ransom Ellis.
Aye. Okay, that passed. We move to citizen participation. Anybody wishing to come forward and talk to us about an item not on the agenda, please do so now. No one comes. New business, PZ item 15-05, discussion and possible vote to recommend the approval of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Republic, Missouri, amending the zoning code and official map by changing the classification of approximately 14.8 acres owned by RLDC LLC and located along the 400 and 500 blocks of West Gray Street from Planned Development District PDD to high-density single-family residential R1H. Discussion.
I imagine most of the people around there are gonna be happy going from apartments to single housing, so I don't see a...
Nobody showed up to say they weren't happy about it.
I have one question about it.
Yeah, George, go ahead.
May not be able to answer it, but how many of these houses are gonna be for sale as primary, or how many rentals are gonna be in this lot? Do you have-
It's my understanding that they will all be for sale. I don't know if any of them will be retained as rentals or not. And we have no control on the buying public, whether we may have individuals who want to buy 3 or 4 and rent. So I really can't answer that.
The properties along the, I guess that would be the south side of that property. On West Madrid Street, are those all R1A?
Those are actually slightly smaller than R1H. They are conventional single-family. They're not attached to each other like a townhome. But those lots, some of those are 60 feet wide. The minimum for R1H is 70 feet. So those lots are just slightly smaller than our conventional R1H zoning district.
That would be the ones that actually are on the south side of West Grace.
Those are zero lot line townhomes.
Got it.
South side of it.
Okay, that's why this one. Any other discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the city council PZ item 15-05, changing the classification to approximately 14.8 acres along 400 and 500 blocks of West Gray Street from Planned Development District PDD to high-density single-family residential R1H.
I'll second it.
Ken, seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Call roll.
Kim Sawyer,
Aye.
Jeff Ressler,
Aye.
George Norris,
Aye.
Alan Dixon,
Aye.
Ransom Ellis.
Aye. Motion carried. Recommendation will be made. Next item of business, PZ item 15-06, discussion and possible vote to recommend the approval of a preliminary plat of the villages at Monte Cristo Phase 2 subdivision located along the 400 and 500 blocks of West Gray Street in the City of Republic.
This is the preliminary plat for the property that you just considered as a rezone. It will subdivide the property into 61 single-family lots. The smallest lots will be 7,000 square feet or more, but the average density within the subdivision actually comes out to greater than 12,000 square feet per lot. Each lot has direct frontage on a public street. They also will all have immediate access to water and sanitary sewer services that are all adequately sized to serve the development. The subdivision pre-plat also indicates some phasing. It's planned that this would be constructed in 2 phases. The first phase being composed of those lots that already have immediate access to the existing street, water, and sanitary sewer network that's there in the subdivision. The city staff, we have reviewed these, all of the pre-plat documents that you'll see tonight. Due to the tight schedule that we were on, there are still some minor corrections that we'd like to be made to these, but they are still, in our opinion, substantially conforming. The surveyor is aware that we still have just a few minor corrections, and so staff's recommending the approval of this preliminary plat, but that it's a conditional approval on those minor corrections being made, as well as that the rezone is eventually passed by the city council.
Do you have a list of the minor recommendations?
I do not have a complete list of them. I spoke with our review team by phone this afternoon to discuss these issues, and my conversations with them consisted of asking them if there were any corrections that they still wanted to see to this that would in any way affect the lot arrangement, the street arrangement, the water and sanitary sewer arrangement, and I was told by all of them that there were none of that nature, that they were all just minor, you could call them survey typos or something like that, just minor clarifications that would not in any way affect the design of what you see here.
This is your deal. Are you aware of the minor issues?
I was made aware of them about 15 minutes ago, and I have not seen the list, so we did receive last week a number of comments, which we attempted to address all of them, and apparently we didn't do it adequately for 1 or 2 of them. I know there were several comments that came back from the contract reviewer asking for engineering information that will be readily available on final documents, but for the concept documents, we don't normally size pipes and calculate the head on the water runs, and there are things that not usually done at concept that would be done at final. We'll be happy to address whatever the questions are.
Well, I guess my concern is that everybody's on the same page, and if I don't have, or we don't have that list, then it only sets everything up for, well, I didn't know. And I'm not saying you do that, but you understand?
I understand.
You may not know.
At this point, I do not know.
And I think it'd be, I don't want to hold your project up, but at the same time, I think it'd be prudent of us if we're going to pass it with that as an addendum or something like that to this, that they need to be taken care of. It becomes a condition of the preliminary plat being approved.
I cannot imagine that there's anything there that we couldn't amend and take care of before the city council hearing.
Famous words spoken by many a litigant, pre-litigation.
Garrett, are these things that the city's requiring?
Yeah, I only have
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've heard what you've heard, so.
These are things the city's requiring. Is the developer who's going to be spending the money on the pipe sizing and all that kind of stuff aware of these items?
Yes. In fact, I was just going to propose, I have the review letters that Rick's referencing that we sent to him. If you wanted to have these admitted into the record, there will be, the list is in these letters. I just don't know which ones on the list they are. That's the issue.
In other words,
it won't be anything that's not on these.
Already taken care of a whole bunch of these.
We thought we had taken care of all of them, so.
Right, but leaving only maybe 2 or 3 that the city thinks need to be taken care of further.
that aren't on the paperwork.
Right.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
All right, would you have an objection to us
Not at
appending
all.
that whole list? And if it's already been taken care of, it's no big deal, but
No, Mr. Chairman, that's a great way to proceed. We're at the time of year where a 1-month delay is going to be critical.
And I don't want it to be a delay because, you know, we should have done something here
Right.
to make sure everybody knew what
Yeah.
the deal was, and
Our staff and I went through the list. We thought we had addressed everything adequately. If there's something that needs to be clarified, we'd be happy to clarify it.
And just to add some clarity, the situation is this. Rick may have made all of the corrections we required. We didn't get the documents to look at until late Friday afternoon, and so in talking with these folks, they couldn't tell me whether all of them, so what they said was, I think all of them are, but I can't tell you for sure that all of them are. So it could be that every single one of these has already been addressed. Just a couple of reviewers did not have the time to check into it in enough detail to tell me 100% for sure, yes.
I think we hit on a way to take care of that aspect. Are there any other discussion concerning it? Okay, so the motion, when it's made, needs to say that the approval of the preliminary plat is conditioned upon satisfactory. What do you
This
want?
letter dated September 9th.
The conditions.
Satisfaction of the corrections that are on the September 9, 2015 Westwood Phase 3 revised preliminary
Sorry.
plat. I'm sorry, wrong one. Okay. We make you go to another place and do theirs too. September 9, 2015 Monte Cristo Phase 2 preliminary plat, first and middle. And conditioned also upon the council changing the zoning.
Right, correct.
Do you want me to make the motion? Think somebody want to make the motion?
You got it down what you think you need. Go ahead. Let's do
All
it.
right, the motion would be that we would recommend, the commission would recommend the approval of the preliminary plat of the Villages at Monte Cristo Phase 2 subdivision located along the 400, 500 blocks of West Gray Street in the city of Republic, Missouri, contingent upon two things. One, satisfactory completion of the items on the letter dated September 9, 2015 regarding Monte Cristo Phase 2 preliminary plat, and condition number 2, that the city council change the zoning of the land from PDD to high-density, single-family residential R1H.
Good job.
You good? Okay. Can I hear a
Who
second?
second?
I'll second it.
All right. Any discussion on the motion? Please don't make me repeat it.
We've got it recorded.
No discussion?
No.
Call the roll.
Ransom Ellis,
Aye?
Brad Bauer, Alan Dixon,
Aye.
George Norris,
Aye.
Jeff Ressler,
Aye.
Ken Storer.
Aye.
Okay, this needs to go to the part of the record.
Yes, correct.
You want to make a copy of it?
I have copies.
Okay. Or that goes with this part of the record.
Part of this.
That's the condition letter.
Okay.
Okay. All right, next item, 15-07, PZ item 15-07, discussion and possible vote to recommend the approval of a preliminary plat of the Battleground Indian Motorcycle Subdivision located along the 2500 block of West US Highway 60 in the City of Republic.
This subdivision will create two general commercial lots located between Farm Road 170 and US Highway 60. There's, one of the lots has an existing building, an existing business on it, that's Kirk's Customs Body Shop, if you're familiar with the area. The subdivision will include a new public street that will extend from south to north from Farm Road 170 and then intersect with US Highway 60. The lots will be served by all the necessary public facilities, including water and sanitary sewer services. The new public street will include the dedication of additional right-of-way that can be used to upgrade the classification of that street to a collector class from a local class, if and when that becomes necessary. The intersection with US Highway 60 has not yet been approved by the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission, nor has the design of how that intersection will work. That hasn't been approved either. The reason for that is that approval process is a lengthy one, and also MoDOT has already said that they will not approve it unless that intersection is a public street. They won't approve it for a private driveway, is what they mean. So in order for them to be confident that it will be a public street, the pre-plat will need to be approved. So staff is again recommending approval of this preliminary plat on the conditions that the same September 9th letter is satisfied for this subdivision, and also in addition to that, that MoDOT does eventually approve this access break as well as the design for that intersection.
The second, you're saying this, it's a condition totally to approval that the state has to approve this exactly the way it's set up here?
No, it will not be as you see here. Where the new street intersects the highway, it will not be as it's shown there. They will require whatever sort of turning lanes or additional improvements they deem as necessary based on traffic volumes, a traffic study done by the developer at this location. They'll make that call after they decide whether or not to even approve the access. So that's the first gate, is the commission will approve, yes, we will allow this intersection here. And then after they've approved it, then they'll decide, okay, how is this going to be designed? Is there going to be a right turn lane? How long does that have to be to allow for the correct deceleration? All of those things will be decided at that time. And so that will be all within the jurisdiction of MoDOT. They'll make all of those decisions, and then the city and the developer will just move on with that.
But the location of it is going to be the same?
Yes.
It's not going to move?
That's correct.
And this is central?
No.
Is that not this one, is the next one? Maybe it's the next one. Is this your property too? Come on up, talk to me.
Again, I'm Rick Wilson, with Wilson Surveying. We're in that catch-22 where the state will, while the local engineers will endorse an intersection or a new point of access onto 60 at this location. And it's a logical location because it's where the old waste station used to be, and there's already a turnout there that we can utilize to improve a decel and acceleration lane. Local engineers will support it. They will not go forward to the Highway Commission until there is an approved preliminary plat. At that point, the Highway Commission will determine whether or not we can honor your recommendation for a city street and the local engineer's recommendation that it be put through. And after that, then the Jefferson City engineers will have their way with us and say this is what it's going to look like. So I can't tell
Somebody
you.
has to say yes.
Somebody has to say yes.
Start to grease the skids here.
Well, now, there's no crossover there at the present time.
There's no
but they'll have to-
crossover there. We're not asking for a crossover and do not expect to receive a crossover.
Oh, you don't think that they're gonna put a crossover there, so it'll just be, everything will have to be eastbound?
There's already a crossover on the west side of Jones' property there at the trailer park. That road goes across the railroad. we don't see another one crossing the railroad.
I wasn't talking
And
about that, I
I-
was talking about the 4-lane, you
Yeah.
know, there's
Well-
no crossover there.
But the one there that's already there does go on across
Yeah.
and crosses the railroad. And we're not big enough and bad enough to fight the railroad.
No.
Well, you're on the opposite side of 60th Railroad, aren't
We are. But if we had the crossover, then the next logical thing would be to relocate that intersection to here, and then that's railroad involvement, and we really don't want to go there. Not for 2 lots. We'll be very happy with a right in, right out on one.
I kinda always liked the little statues that guy had.
Some of them are still there, and some of them will be on display with the new building.
And some of them are on Missouri State's campus.
Yeah, I saw that one I wanted, was
That's
a
right.
two-headed dinosaur, I'm sorry. I always liked that one. Any questions, Mr. Wilson?
Certainly looks like it's an awful expensive situation for 2 lots, but.
It is, but these are commercial lots.
Yeah, I know.
He's been told that he has the franchise for the Indian motorcycles. He's planning a fairly large building on that 2 acres, 1.9 acres, and he's gonna spend a lot of money.
Well, like I said, yeah, this road.
And it ought to be a good addition to the city of Republic.
Yeah. So you just need us to give it an approval so you could go forward to the state?
Yes, sir.
It'd be, have to be conditional.
Yeah. But you got that down.
And we
Two conditions,
agreed to
okay.
all the comments that are in the letter of September 9th.
You've seen this one longer?
No, got it the same day.
Okay. Well, you need something to do today.
That's right.
Yes. Want me to make one?
Go ahead, you're
All
the
right.
man.
You're getting this down word for word, right?
Oh, bad. Is it worded the same way as the other one?
Yeah. It would be, this is that the commission would recommend the approval of a preliminary plat of a Battleground Indian Motorcycle subdivision located along the 2500 block of West US Highway 60 in the city of Republic, Missouri, with 2 contingencies to that recommendation. Contingency 1 is that is it MoDOT? Missouri Highway Department?
Missouri Highway and Transportation Commission.
Okay, Missouri Highway and Transportation Commission would, grant
the access.
grant an access to the property from US Highway 60 west.
Yes.
And 2, second condition is that the provisions contained in the letter dated September 9, 2015 from the City of Republic for that subdivision, or that preliminary plat, be complied with in that letter. We'll make the letter an exhibit. Any second?
I'll second.
I'll make a,
I'll second.
Any discussion on the motion? Again, don't.
I'd like to make one comment before we
Yeah.
go. This says West US Highway 60, that's actually on East Highway 60.
Yeah. That is true.
Depends on who you talk to.
Well,
It should be.
it's on the east side
They're
of the
from
road.
Springfield to Republic.
It's East Highway 60 to us, but to Greene County, Springfield, Republic, that's the west side of Highway 60.
As in North Main, South Main.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, not exactly.
I guess if that's how they're doing it. That would be eastbound.
But it would be the 2500 block of East US Highway 60 in the City of Republic?
That will, the addressing will eventually be from East US Highway 60, as George is indicating, but not everybody uses the same grid.
Well, right now, the trailer park is west.
Exactly.
60
Correct.
is their address.
I think we all know
Right,
where it is.
yeah.
I just wanted to point that out, because I guess it made any difference.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Raises interesting issues, but I think we're all
Yeah.
online with it. Any other discussion on the motion? Call the roll, please.
Ken Sawyer,
Aye.
Jeff Bressler,
Aye.
George North,
Aye.
Alan Dixon,
Aye.
Ransom Ellis.
Aye. That would be the exhibit to that. Next item of business, PZ item 15-08, discussion and possible vote to recommend the approval of a revised preliminary plat of the Westwood Phase 3 subdivision located along the 7500 block of West Farm Road 174 in the city of Republic, Missouri.
This is a pre-plat for a subdivision located in the R1H high-density single-family zoning district. It is a preliminary plat that the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council have approved multiple times before. This may be the fourth time. This time it includes some revisions. Those revisions that I want to point out include, first and foremost, that the extension of Bailey Avenue, which is a planned future secondary arterial for the city, that extends from Farm Road 174 to the eastern boundary of the subdivision. The revision there is that Bailey Avenue will only be constructed in part from the intersection with Farm Road 174 up to where it intersects with Prairie Ridge Street. It's only going to be built, the part of that road is only going to be built to the extent that is necessary to serve this subdivision. The remainder of that road will be financially secured by the city in a form and amount that is ultimately approved by the city administrator, city attorney, and public works director. So we'll get a financial security for the value of that remaining construction rather than having it be built at this time, and then the city will then finish the construction when necessary in the future.
And that's just that little hunk that's,
Yeah, the
Goes
extent
to
that
the
won't
property
be
line.
built is maybe a little over 200 feet, I think, that we'll get a financial security for. Other revisions include a new lot that has frontage and driveway access to Farm Road 174, that's lot 45 that you see there. The Public Works Director has put his stamp of approval on this particular arrangement. He believes it's better than the alternative. It's not as good for access management, but it's better from a street maintenance perspective. The alternative was going to be a knuckle on one of the other streets, which can be expensive to maintain. And so this was a better alternative from his perspective. And then there's also just some very slight adjustments to street curvature, and some of the other lot lines have been adjusted to make things fit a little bit better. But otherwise, it is pretty much the same as it was with those exceptions. Staff is still recommending approval of this preliminary plat with the condition that you've had on the previous ones with the September 9th letter.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm clear what you said there. On lot 45, then its frontage will be on Farm Road 174. That's what you're telling us, right?
That's correct, yes.
And it'll be the only lot there that'll actually have their driveway coming into 174. Everybody else will go to the other.
Yes.
And then the street where you've got the small dotted dots in it, and it stops right there, that's as far as the street's going at the present time. The rest of it will be at another time.
That's correct.
and on the city.
And on the city, yeah, but
I
they're
mean,
getting,
the finances
Right.
are secured for that, and then the city would build that when needed.
because you're not going to, of course, stop there. You're planning on going to wherever you're.
Right, the plan is
Citizen
for,
arterial.
yeah, the plan is for Bailey to extend from County Line Road all the way to US Highway 60.
Okay.
Has the fire department looked at this ginormous knuckle up in the upper part of this?
Yes, they have. That knuckle actually already exists.
Okay?
It was final platted recently. So yes, they're aware of it, and they can
That's the first edition.
navigate
I
it
see.
if the right person is driving.
And there's nobody parked on the street.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't want to live in 12 or 13.
You know what, and this may be too early for that, you know what square footage homes are gonna be putting on this property?
I don't know, and that's not typically,
That's something you get into at this
Information we
point, I'm
asked
just
for.
curious as what they were.
I'll make a recommendation to the city council for the approval of PZ item 15-08 to revise the preliminary plat of the Westwood Phase 3 subdivision located along the 7500 block of West Farm Road 174 in the city of Republic, Missouri. Do we need, with a condition that the city get the proper financing to, what?
yes,
Okay.
that is what,
Get the proper financing to continue Bailey Street to the property line?
And to meet the punch list
And to meet-
letter
and to meet
September
the
9, 2015
same
for the Westwood
conditions of-
Phase 3.
Same conditions as the letter from September 9, 15.
And you got that letter too? Most of them are busy.
I'll second.
You second it? Okay.
Discussion on the motion at all? Call roll.
Ransom Ellis,
Aye.
Alan Dixon,
Aye.
George North,
Aye.
Jeff Ressler,
Aye.
Ken Sawyer.
Aye.
Only one item left.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Call roll.
Ken Sawyer,
Aye.
Jeff Ressler,
Aye.
George North,
Aye.
Alan Dixon,
Aye.
Ransom Ellis.
Aye.
Good night, this man.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Are we only gonna have, do we only have the one sheet, or do we have a sheet for each item?
Just one,
Just the one?
just for the recent.
You don't have one of these?
You've already been to
Do we have another one of these, Kenny?
One that-
George didn't have one, I guess.
George didn't have one?
I got one.
It was, I got a couple of them. You need these back?
Where's my pen?
There it is.
Garrett,
This was the only,
I'm gonna go over to the end that way.
No, not, well,
this was the only public hearing.
I try not to get out.
Looking at this,
I
I'm going,
live
I thought this was my
three
blank one.
quarters
I'm
of a
going,
mile
oh,
from
Garrett
my
already
shop
filled it out.
off
for me.
He's
good, but he ain't that good, is he?
City traffic anywhere. I don't even have to, I used to have to do that, I don't have to do that anymore, she drives.
Well, I see the city expanding and growing and all that. It's always good.
Somebody else is doing, I didn't even read my paper.
I need to sign these two as well.
I got one, you can, 15 gallons, you can hook up to your tractor and pull it behind you. Yeah.
I've got an extra spray.
Oh, you got extra?
Big blue container down by my barn.
How big is it? Mine's only 15 gallons, I may need more.
Well, if you want to have it,
I was killing those stinking webworms. They're everywhere.
that's a lost
Oh,
battle.
this is a bad year for him.
Oh,
You got AT&T service?
My son's got a tree in his yard, and they
It's gone
literally
probably.
It's all bagworms, they've eaten all the green off the tree.
I had some malathion, which
Damn.
is,
that
you
what
can
it is?
spray
Yeah, my
and eat
wife
the next
called,
day, so
but
it's wimpy
this is
stuff,
down
and I said,
until
I'm trying, I went down and hit them all my pecan trees, and walnut trees, and
That's
they're dead.
instantaneous.
So I was like,
They said on the radio today, all you gotta do is break the webs open.
Fortunately,
Oh,
we
really?
have a landline.
You don't have to
I couldn't
trade
reach
them.
some of them though. I mean, they were up there.
Trade them with them.
So you just go with the
My
stick and
grandma
Well, I
whack
thought
them?
they said on the news the other night, you had to break them open to be able to spray them to get it inside, but maybe that one day I misunderstood.
Well, maybe,
I got some more if you wanna come over and try it. They're
That'd
only
be
about
solid.
20 feet up the tree.
Solid.
I've got, the only ones I have in my yard are on my sweet gum tree, and I hope they kill it.
Kill the tree, yeah.
Or the walnut
I don't-
trees,
I
like
don't
the
wanna lose
pecan,
my
I got
nose
pecan
on
trees
this
around
Well,
there.
we
The
want
walnut
it,
trees,
we want it.
Oh,
And I can help.
they
Careful this
decimate
year.
those.
Well, Garrett,
We just need to make sure that those are attached, because we don't want to have an issue.
No, I agree.
right.
You guys have AT&T service, cell phone?
No.
Mm-mm. Verizon.
AT&T? Had a little trouble calling today? You tried to call today?
I got calls all day.
Afternoon. Because it's down until the 24th.
We will